Kelly and Kyle with Cruiser Customizing. Welcome to this week's Lines and Cables Tip of the Week.
Last week, Kelly and I took you on a step-by-step installation of exactly how to wire your bars internally for all of your electrical. This week, we're going to show you the installation of this Barron's Custom Accessory complete kit for 6 inches over stock. We're going to start out by replacing the clutch cable,
Throttle, push and pull,
and then the front brake line. Now with this week's tip, we're going to take the front brake line, we're going to take all the fluid out of the lines, replace it with this line, and then in a future episode, we're going to show you how to complete a complete brake job.
So sit back and take a closer look as we install these lines and cables. I'm going to start at the end of the clutch cable. Then once I've replaced the stock cable with the stainless cable, I'm going to run it up to the bar. First step, loosen the jam nut. With all my nuts loose, we've created slack in the cable. I'm going to loosen my safety tab and remove the cable. With the cable free, we're now going to remove it from the motorcycle. Removing the bar end of the clutch cable is pretty simple. Now I'm just going to remove this rubber sleeve and install it on our stainless cable. We're now at a point where we can slide the clutch perch onto the bar and secure it. Before we completely secure the clutch perch, we're going to slip our grip into place. With our grip in place, we're now going to fasten our switch box housing. It's important that you grease the end of your cable, but now we're just going to slide it into place. Now that we've run our cable through all stock harnesses, we're going to install our jam nut and attach our cable. Clutch cable done. Now, throttle cables. These are our throttle, push, and pull. This may be the trickiest part of our installation. What makes this tricky are the tight quarters we have to work in and the precise adjustments needed. While this is possible to do without removing the snorkel, being simpler and quicker, we're going to remove the snorkel. These two cables run down through our frame and attach to our carburetor. We're going to begin by loosening these two nuts. Now that we've got these loose, let's move on to the other side. The next step is to remove the cable barrel out of the carburetor. With our throttle cables loose, we're going to pull them all the way out. Ta-da! With our stock lines lying next to our aftermarket lines, we're going to go ahead and mirror the position of the nuts. The next step is to swap the switch box housing. It's now time to feed the new cables into the motorcycle.
Remember, in the disassembly of the stock handlebars, this pin came out of a hole in the bar. What we're going to have to do before we finish this assembly is we're going to have to mark where that hole needs to be.
Now, we're going to carefully drill our bar. With the push cable installed, Kyle's going to step up and help me install the pull cable. Now that we have our throttle cable installed, the next adjustment is the most important.
So there's two things we need to adjust here. Number one is going to be the free play. Number two, this grip isn't snapping back very quick, so we're going to have to modify that as well. These major adjustments are made down here where the cable is attached to the carburetor. Alright, I think we have it, Kelly. What we're looking for is about an 1/8 to 1/4 inch of free play here at the front, and then the throttle must snap back. Sounds like we got it fixed.
Alright, last step, front brake line.
As you can see, it runs from the master cylinder down the front fork of the motorcycle to the caliper. I'm going to start by removing the two Phillips head screws on the top of this reservoir. Brake fluid is extremely corrosive, so you want to make sure you keep all brake fluid off any painted surface. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and dump the fluid that's in this reservoir into a drain pan. We go ahead and stuff a rag in there so we don't get any more fluid dripping down. Go ahead and remove this front brake line. This line and saran wrap to keep it from leaking.
Now with the drain pan underneath this banjo bolt, and drain the fluid into the pan. We're going to feed our front brake line through the fork. Absolutely every time you remove or replace your brake line, you must replace your copper washers as well.
Now copper washers go on both sides of your banjo bolt. This prevents any leaks from happening.
With the upper banjo bolt tight, let's move to the bottom. Here at the bottom, attaching the banjo bolt is done exactly the same. There we go. Isn't she beautiful?
Stainless steel lines and cables look great on just about any motorcycle, and the performance benefits are great as well.
Thank you for joining us for this week's Cruiser Customizing Tip of the Week.
Until next week, take care and ride safe.